YouTube, what is up? We are back with another day, and the body is beat up from these VS2 lifts back to back. We got another one today, we got another one tomorrow. By tomorrow, we're probably gonna be in the fucking graveyard. The legs are gonna be cooked. We just finished warming up with some dunks. We had like 10 to 15-ish minutes of dunks. League was canceled tonight, so after this lift, we're gonna go BP and run our sprints on the field. It was rainier out earlier, so you can still BP on the fields, but a lot of times the like game fields they get pretty butthurt about keeping those fresh, so they cancel league. I honestly think it's just a money grab. It seems like anytime there's a sprinkle, they'll cancel league on us. So we're gonna go get our 100 cuts a day by ourselves, not in league, off of the tee, run some sprints, and then today we got some cleans and some pulls, and it should be pretty sickening. The dunks and vertical, we're feeling really, really good today. We've been PRing on the jump mat, like all-time PRs on the jump mat, but I haven't dunked on anything but our gym hoop here. If you own a gym, I cannot recommend getting the U-Ball enough. I gotta get sponsored by them because I've put too many people onto it without getting paid, but just out of the goodness of my heart. Because the athletes fucking love it, and it's the best gym hoop that I've seen. You can move it, just set kettlebells on the back and set it up. It gets pretty beat up, but we have some monsters dunking on it, so I can't really fault them for their product because it's held up and it's done its job. But it only goes to 9 feet 6 inches, so that's all we've been dunking on, but it's been feeling good, been feeling explosive. We got to get to a real rim and see where the dunking is at, but the vertical is higher than it's ever been. Now we just got to translate that to the skill of dunking if we want to get back into it. The body was feeling beat up before the dunks, and it's feeling really good now. I just needed to move a little bit and get some variety in the movements. That wasn't just Oli lifts today. So rip those. Now we're gonna hop into the Olis. Let's get after it. Let's go. All right, to start, we got the same thing as last week with these muscles cleans in the presses. We got 4 sets of 3 here, making it crispy, warming up for these cleans. Let's go. I kind of feel like this movement is K-Dot's way of baiting me into going full Oli and start jerking, and I swear to God, if he starts programming jerks before I clean 405, him and I are going to have some serious beef, because I'll do it and I'll fall in love with it, and then I'll start becoming a full Oli lifter. Fuck, I might end up crossfitting, you never know. It's all truly a downhill path from here. We're drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit too much. Let's go. Third set here, legs, man, I think cleans are gonna fuck me up today because the legs feel absolutely cooked from those squats yesterday, and I think a little bit residual soreness from Sunday. These actually are feeling pretty smooth. I feel like I'm a little bit more fluid with them from last week, so let's keep ripping. I'm also going to be completely honest. This is about the only upper body work done I've done in probably like a month now. We've been skipping our bench days, our weekly bench days. Just kind of ripping our 3 Oli days. Our schedule's been absolutely packed with summer softball going on. We have league literally every single night of the week. And Wednesdays were our climbing night with the girl. But now that she's in Colorado, we just moved her out. That's where I'm going on Thursday. We'll be able to start adding that back in next week. We'll have another day of another training day in during the week. But triceps are feeling sore from these these 4 sets of 3 overhead press that we're ripping, because we've been an absolute bot with our upper body, and we got to get that glaze back. So let's go. Ooh, that was slow as shit. One more. Ooh. Woo. I think my favorite thing about working with K-Dot is the week 1 of every time he gives me something to do, he leaves the sets open and says, just send it. And then he inevitably watches me send myself into the absolute fucking ground. And then the very next week, he always gives me constraints. So this week we got constraints on our weights, and we're from 280 to 290 on these pulls. We got 15 minutes of it every minute on the minute. We got 5 reps at 280, 5 reps at 285, 5 reps at 290. Before we get to these every minute on the minute, I want to kind of talk about something that I got in a question I kind of got in the YouTube comments by Kyle Bang on the How You Should Train Female Athletes video. And he was asking, do you not use percentages training with females? I asked this because I have a few female friends whose 1 rep max is the same as their 2 to 3 rep max. I was wondering, for example, a female went on a program like a 5-3-1 based on percentages, would the program percent give the intended stimulus for that workout? And the argument versus RPE versus percentages isn't really the point that I think needs to be talked about here. I think the point that needs to be talked about here is, again, the training age of most females that you're working with. And with a young training age and with a beginner training age, learning the skill set of grinding, learning the skill set of pushing is much different than being strong. And it has nothing to do with being lazy or not working hard. It's literally a skill set of understanding what the body is capable of doing and what the body is able to push. And a lot of my high school athletes are the same way, male or female. It just has to do with the young training age. We also have 40-year-olds in this gym that train with us in the morning that are the same exact way, where they'll hit an RPE 6 and they talk about it's an RPE 12 and they can't move up in weight. And again, these are not lazy people. It has nothing about being lazy. It has something to do with understanding what your body's capable of and understanding what pushing actually feels like, understanding what an RPE 10 actually feels like, understanding what a 1 rep max actually is and what it feels like and how to push through that. And that comes through training age. It has nothing to do with percentages versus RPE. Both of them open up conversations for these athletes because you set a parameter around what it's supposed to look like. Then you have the conversation with how it felt. And then one of the best things and tools that you can use is video to show them what it actually looked like and try to piece those things together to show them, hey, you thought this was an RPE 12 and I'm showing you a video that it's an RPE 6. We can push more weight and add more weight for the next set. They add more weight and they're able to do it. You give them a little bit of confidence there. You give them a data piece and you really start to get them to understand what pushing a weight actually feels like, what pushing a certain percentage actually feels like. And that's really the beauty of training to me. And the goal of what a good coach should do is get athletes to a point in which they understand their bodies enough where they don't need you because they understand their bodies. They understand what that weight actually felt like and they can trust it. So I don't think the ability to push 1 rep maxes is a gender difference. I really think it is a training age difference. And again, culturally, you're just going to have much more females that have a younger training age or a lower training age than males. So males have the experience of pushing those heavier weights and they have more data points of pushing those heavier weights, so they understand it a little bit more. And again, this is college age males because I have plenty of high school males that have young training ages and they're same exact way. They have no fucking idea. But again, I think this all opens up great conversations to have with your athletes to get them to understand their bodies and get them to understand what they're actually doing. And I think a lot of coaches shy away from that. And it's why I'm against super strict percentages and against super strict RPEs, because I think it takes away that conversation piece and it takes away that ability to understand when they're failing because they're not putting enough on, and when they're failing when they're putting too much weight on, and when they're getting away from the constraints and the goal of that day. And those conversations are way more powerful than just a sheet of paper in front of them. I think a lot of times we base our strength conditioning programs off college strength conditioning programs where they have 100 athletes and they can't monitor every athlete at the same time. And we think that's the best way to do it. And it's really not the best way to do it. It's just kind of the only way to do it with that many athletes and that few of coaches in that setting, to where you kind of have to constrain them more and you have less freedom to work with them. But if you do have the freedom to work with them and you're in this private sector setting or you just have a smaller group of athletes, I think you can provide a little more freedom while still constraining them enough to understand what the goal stimulus is that day and open up those conversations, because you don't have 100 to 1 athlete to coach ratio. But the general premise is you just have to learn how to push. And that is a skill set, and it doesn't mean you're lazy, and it doesn't mean you're not trying, and it doesn't mean your athletes are lazy, it doesn't mean they're not trying. It means they don't have that skill set and they don't have enough data points to understand what that actually means. The goal of coach should be able to get them to a point in which they do start to understand what that means and what that feels like for them, so that when you're programming these loose constraints around them, they can operate and auto-regulate better in what they're able to do that day for those percentages and that goal stimulus for the day. So just my 2 cents on that. Let's get after these weights. This bar is feeling heavy, and we got 15 minutes of it, so we're going to have to lock the fuck in and get after this. Let's go. All right, out of 5, keep ripping. And to finish up that little rant, the only way to find out your 1 rep max is to find out your 1 rep max and actually push it to that limit. And again, I think that's something beginners are scared of and they just don't know how to do. And I think a lot of people get scared as coaches to like push your athletes to that limit. But regardless, with you or without you, they got to find out what that limit is. And the only way to find out what that limit is to actually push to that limit. And it doesn't always have to be 1 rep maxes, but maybe a 3 rep max or a 2 rep max. But if they're perpetual undershooters of their weights, you as a coach have to push them to get to a point in which they start to overshoot so they understand what the other extreme feels like, and then they can find that beautiful middle ground. But if you never give an opportunity to do that because you're helicopter parenting the whole time, they're never going to find it. So the only way to find your 1 rep max is to actually find your 1 rep max, and you're going to fail when you do that, and that's okay. Obviously do it smart and don't do it all the time. But failing in training is the same way as failing in life. It's going to happen, and if you're not doing it, you're probably not doing it hard enough, and you're not doing it right, and you're never going to make progress that way. So let's get the second set here, second set of 5 here. God damn. Last set of 5 here, let's go. All right, we're gonna try and hit a rep with this, with the new Minnesota State champ softball belt on, just troll the softball community a little bit. If I get bodied here because it weighs about 100 pounds, we'll take it off. But we're gonna rip and troll the softball community here, let's go. All right, getting hit around that belt and not cutting myself was significantly harder than I thought it was gonna be, but we still got the troll content. So now we got 4 more, let's go. Wait. All right, last set here, then we're gonna get some pulls, let's go. Good little work day there. Let's rip some pulls. All right, now we got 3 sets of 3 low hang pulls here. We got 315 for the first set, 335 for the second set, 350 for the third set. Keep them nice and clean and explosive. Let's go. Ooh. Second set here. If you guys are looking for a nice little peelment snack, they got these like Greek yogurt little shakes or drinks. It's like 15 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, straight to the dome, and they taste fucking amazing. So we're gonna down one of these and get after the second set. Let's go. Woo! Best shot there is. Let's go. Ooh, let's go. All right, 350 on the bar, last set here. Let's rip. Ooh, let's go. That's a freaking work day, especially for how shitty we were feeling going into that. We grinded and we got it all done. 0 missed reps and a belt clean. That's a sickening day. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully our legs are feeling a little bit better, but doubtful. Appreciate you guys watching. Keep chopping wood.